On the Sublime by Dionysius Longinus. The exact date and authorship of the Greek treatise on the Sublime is unknown. Two Longinuses are claimed to be the author of this treatise. It was actually in 1554 that the Italian critic Robertello ascribed it to a rhetorician named Dionysius Longinus of the 1st century AD, and this was generally accepted up to the beginning of the 19th century. Then some critics pointed out that the work belonged to another Longinus who lived in the 3rd century AD. As we are told that the treatise was written to correct the faults of an essay on the same subject by one Caecilius, who is definitely known to have belonged to the 1st century AD, we must accept the later half of the 1st century AD as the most likely date of its composition. So, no doubt, Dionysius Longinus is the author of this treatise. On the Sublime is the most precious legacy of the Greco-Roman period and a critical record of great worth and significance. Though one third of the original document is missing, it contains a lot to be considered as one of the best pieces of criticism that have come down to us from antiquity. The treatise is addressed to one Terentianus, a friend or a pupil of Longinus. Longinus tells him of his purpose of correcting the faults of Caecilius's essay on the Sublime and makes some other preliminary observations. Sublimity is a certain loftiness and excellence in language. It is only through sublimity that the greatest poets and prose writers of Greek and Latin have derived their eminence and gained immortality. Sublimity does not merely persuade, it carries us away almost irresistibly. Sublimity is a gift of nature. It won't come from the painstaking observance of the rules of rhetoric. For the further explanation of the nature of the sublime, Longinus compares the true sublime with the false sublime. The false sublime is characterized by bombast of language, which is as great an evil as swellings in the body. These ugly and parasitical growths in literature appears from the pursuit of novelty in the expression of ideas which may be regarded as the fashionable craze of the day. The true sublime pleases all and pleases always, as it arises from lofty ideas clothed in lofty language. It gives us joy and exalts our spirits as it expresses the thoughts of universal validity, the thoughts common to men of all ages and countries. To acquire the true sublimity, both nature and art are equally necessary. He says, fine writing needs the curb as well as the spur. He complains Caecilius for his omitting some of the five sources of sublimity. Either he believed that sublimity and emotion were one and the same thing and always existed and developed together, or he thought that emotion had no contribution to make to sublimity. So he was wrong. In Longinus' opinion, there is nothing so productive of a grandeur as a noble emotion in the right place. According to Longinus, the five principal sources of sublime are grandeur of thought, passion, the uses of figures, diction, and dignified composition. Noble and lofty thoughts find their natural expression in lofty language. Lofty thoughts itself is an echo of greatness of soul. Such greatness and nobility of soul can be cultivated by nourishing the mind on thoughts that are elevating. So, one who wants to attain this must feed his soul on the works of the great masters like Homer and capture some of their greatness. The second source of sublime is vehement and inspired passion. There should be genuine emotion. Strong and powerful emotion would contribute more to loftiness of tone in writing. The third source of attaining excellence of style is the use of figures. Figures should not be used mechanically. Rather, they must be rooted in genuine emotion. Longinus does not deal with all figures, but only with those that give distinction to style. The figures treated are the rhetorical question, asyndeton, or the omission of a conjunction. Hyperbaton or inversion. Periphrases, a roundabout way of saying things by which the use of commonplace words is avoided. And apostrophe or addressed to abstract or inanimate objects. These all will bring the expression a richer note and more tuneful rhythms. The fourth source of the sublime is diction, which include choice and arrangement of words. As well as the use of metaphor and simile. Both ordinary and striking words must be suitably chosen, for both are necessary for the formation of an impressive style. Similarly, metaphors are necessary to give elevation to style. Along with metaphors, he considers the use of hyperboles. which he says must also rise from emotion. The fifth source of Sublime is dignified and noble composition and arrangements. By this, he means a verbal order that is usually called rhythm. Words must be harmoniously set. Such a harmonious combination of words appeals to the soul and enables the reader to share the emotions of the author. The true sublime uplifts the soul and fills the mind with joy. As it overcomes the test of time, it remains memorable. Here, Longinus quotes the lines of Iliad and proves the force and vigor of Homer that captures the desperate mood of Ajax in the mist and baffling night. Zeus, Father, yet save thou Achaea's sons from beneath the gloom, and make clear day, and vouchsafe unto us with our eyes to see. So it be but in light, destroy us. Here he doesn't plead for life as it will demean his stature. Instead, he craves for death that is worthy of his bravery. Thus, he proves how Homer uses appropriate thought, emotion, and diction to suit the intensity of emotion that befits the situation. This is what he says as sublimity, that has social implications because of its possessing inherent moral values. So it is enjoyed by all, irrespective of time, place, and age. So, low and undignified vocabulary, ill sounding words, and vulgar idioms should be avoided. Brevity is effective, but conciseness of expression will mar the sublime. These are the views of Longinus on the sublime. Longinus is one of the greatest critics of antiquity. Like Aristotle, he based his theories on existing Greek literature. He likewise aimed at a rational explanation of literary phenomena. So his methods of theorizing are analytic, inductive, psychological, and historical. He is said to be a pioneer in the field of analytical criticism as he has applied the analytical method in his analysis of one of the important love lyrics of Sappho. He is also said to be the first romantic critic as he emphasizes on imagination and emotion. A lot of similar things in the pages of Longinus on the Sublime will never grow old, and its freshness and light will continue to charm all ages. That is why it remains towering among all other works of its class.